Can I code? Let's find out. NumPy, a powerful computing tool. This video will be divided into 4 parts, and these 4 parts will help you to understand. So, what's NumPy array? Well, you could think NumPy array as a box where you can put something, but remember, they need to be heterogeneous. So, NumPy can be thought as array manipulation. Okay, so the natural question is, what's the difference between Python list and NumPy list? Well, Python list is homogeneous, so it has to look through data types, then the item itself. On the other hand, NumPy array is heterogeneous, so you can directly look for an item. Hence, it is faster. So the clear winner is NumPy. It's coding time. But wait, before we start coding, we need to make sure that we have NumPy installed in our environment or our system. To check if we have NumPy installed in our system or not, we can simply go over to the terminal and click here. Then we can simply type pip freeze. Pip freeze will list out all the libraries that you have installed in your respective environment or system. If you have NumPy installed, it will show up in your list. In my case, I have 1.22.3 version of NumPy installed in my environment. Okay. In case you don't have NumPy, you can simply type pip install NumPy. This will start installing NumPy in your environment. Now, once we have NumPy installed in our environment, we can begin by importing NumPy. Now I'm going to give NumPy an alias or nickname. The reason I'm giving a NumPy an alias or nickname is because I don't want to call NumPy every time I want to use NumPy. Okay? So, example. This is an example, okay? You can see that I didn't type the NumPy, but I type simply NP. Okay, it is basically like a shorter version or nickname. Okay, it makes life easier and it is a good practice. So let's make an array. Okay, so let's say I want to make an array. Another good practice is to specify data type. In my case, I have integers. So I will say integers. Okay. Now, if I print a, it will give me this, right? So this is one dimension array. Okay. So what's the difference between one dimension, two dimension, and three dimension? That's a very interesting thing. I had difficulty figuring out what it was because in documentation and stuff, it was kind of unclear to me at first, but it later hit me. It's something so simple. Okay, so how I like to think about one dimension or any dimension array is, let's say you have to call out this 3. Okay, so how many parameters do you need to pass in indexing bracket in order to call out this tree? In this case, we have to only pass one parameter. So this square bracket is a way of indexing item. Okay, in Python list it is also similar syntax. Okay, so look at here. We have only passed one parameter, right? And with this one parameter, we can call out this item, right? So one very important thing to remember is that array or any list starts with index number 0. Okay, so this first item is 0, the second item is 1, and third item is 2. If I print this out, I will get 3. Okay, so this is one dimension. Now let's create a two dimension. I will use recep 2, 2. It is very important to note that I just cannot type 1 here, because look at this list. Okay, there are 4 items in here. Okay, you cannot reset this into 2, 1. You can only reset this into 2, 2, or you can reset this into 2, 4. 1, 4. Okay, but for now I will only reset it into 2, 2. Okay, so let's set the variable name to b and let's print out b. Let's comment this out and let's print b. As you can see here, it is a 2-dimensional array. If we say set, it will say 2, 2, right? The one we reserve it into. So now let's use the same logic above and call out an element. In this case also I'm going to call out 3. Okay, now let's look at this array. Okay, so where is 3? 3 is in second row, right? But remember, indexing starts with 0, so we can not type 2 because this is 0 and this is 1. So let's type 1, comma, and inside this row 3 is in the beginning, that is 3 is the first item of this row. So as I have told before, the indexing starts with 0, hence I need to type 0. So if I do this, it will print out 3. See, the difference between 1 dimension and 2 dimension is this simple. This asks your question, if I want to call out the specific element, how many parameters do I have to pass? If that's 1 parameter, it's 1 dimension. If it's 2 parameter, it's 2 dimension. Okay, now let's create a 3-dimension array. So I will just type number 4. I will bracket. Okay, so let's type data type we have int x, right? So if I reset into 2 by 2 by 2, then as you can see here, it will print out something like this. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so it will print something like this, right? Actually, let's change the content of this second mesh. Okay, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 in one box, 5, 6, 7, 8 in another box. I like to think this as a box. Now let's say we want 7, right? Following the same logic, now in 3 dimension we need to pass 3 different parameters. Okay, so first we need to specify which box do you want. Do you want first box or do you want second box? In this case we want second box, but remember, indexing starts with 0. So we will type 1. Now in the second box, 7 is in second row, right? So again we will type 1, comma. Now 7 begins um, first, okay? It is the first element of this row. So we will type 0. Now uh, okay, let me comment this out, okay? As you can see here, it printed 7. Previously also it printed 7, but because we hadn't commented this, it printed 3. Now this is basically how dimension work in NumPy array, okay? So another interesting way to create NumPy array is by using a random, okay? Let's say we don't want to like type this array, but we want something or some random array, okay? So if you want some random number, you can simply say np that's a random integer 1 comma 10. In this case we do not need to type we do not need to specify data type, because this already specify it is an integer, okay? So we can simply say save equals to, let's say we want 2 comma 2. Let's just say we want 2. No, let's say we want 4, okay? This is one dimension, and let's say this 2 comma 2, this will be 2 dimension, and this will be 3 dimension, right? So let me say this is rank 1, this is rank 2, this is rank 3. Now for now let's comment this and this, okay? Okay, shape. Okay, let me do this then. I'm sorry about that. Okay, as you can see here, it is a one dimension array. So I previously thought it will take save as an argument, but you can just specify it in a tuple, okay? So let me explain a bit here, okay? So this is NumPy random integer generated. So it is saying create a NumPy, create a NumPy array and fill it with a random integer starting from 1 to 10 to about 4, okay? 1 2 3 4, okay? And in second case it is saying the same, except it is saying create a 2-dimension array. In third case 3-dimension array, right? So let's say let's print out 2-dimension array. As you can see, it will give us 2-dimension array, and if I do this, it will give me 3-dimension array. Now one interesting trick, if you want the random number to be same, in this case look at this number, okay, 8578. If I print it again, the number will change. But let's say you want a constant random number, you only want to generate it once, then you can say ran equals to np random state equals to 1 or 0, and you can simply say ran here, okay? Now if you print this out, look at this number, okay? Note this number 35635358. If I print this again, it will remain the same, okay? This is one of the way to make the random number generate only once, so that every time you run the code, the random number then doesn't change. Okay, and this is the cool thing you can do. So this is basically all about the array. This is the basic of NumPy array. Okay, so thank you for watching this coding. Now let's go to next part. If you want to learn more about NumPy, check out NumPy documentation and also watch the YouTube channel that I have linked in description.